Alright, and first things first, let's go ahead and take off the cover. I'll take off all these 17mm bolts and drain the excess fluid. I did already drain this while it was in the car, but there's always going to be a little bit of left over because you can't really get it all out without tearing it apart. But let's go ahead and take these out and get the excess fluid out of there. I knew I was gonna make a mess. I didn't think there was gonna be that much left, but I guess there was. Not that big of a deal though. Yeah, it looks like it is an LSD unit, which super happy about that because that because of what I got planned for this thing. So if it wasn't, I would have been really surprised, but you know, anything can happen. And of course, like I said, you don't really know until you take it apart. So super stoked though, because these actually do fetch a little bit of money. Not that I'm gonna sell it or anything, but you know, always nice to have nice parts, especially when they come with the car already. So that's always a plus. Take the axle stubs out, and they should pry out, so I'm just gonna get a little pry bar and they should push out. I'm also gonna make note to label these because you don't want to mismatch them because they all have preset lashes on them, and since I'm not really gonna set the lash again on it, I don't really want to mess with that. And like I said, it works, so why mess with it, other than of course rebuilding the clutch packs and all that, but and re-gasketing it. But the important parts, the stuff that takes time, is already done, so I'm not gonna mess with it. Like I said, these should just pry out. There's really nothing holding it other than just kind of fit it in there. Alright. Now we can take off the two, I don't even know what you want to call these, honestly. They're just kind of like plates that hold the bearings in place here in the side, which we will be replacing anyway, so let's pull those off. So that's one side of it, and then we can get the other side, and this the actual center, the actual piece of the differential will actually come out. There we go. This one was a little tougher on there. Also, another thing I did forget to mention is don't lose these shims that come with them, because these are already set. So these are a certain thickness and they have to be that way for it to be able to have enough, or the correct amount of lash. So don't lose them and don't mismatch them, like I said before. But yeah, now we're ready to pull this baby out and see what it looks like. So I'll show you guys the pinion gear. Looks like it's in actually really good condition. No chipping, no crazy scores or anything like that. As well as the bearings on the LSD unit. So yeah, again, very happy, and should be a good starting point for this. And the plate, along with the shim and the corresponding bolts and boxes, and I actually labeled them passenger and driver side, just because, like I said, you don't really want to mix these up. Everything is already set for it to work this way, so you might as well just leave it alone unless you're doing a full rebuild, but then you got to check shims and you got to check lash and all that. But so that's all done. I have the diff, the empty diff over there with just the pinion gear and the pinion gear and the diff cover over there, and I have the LSD unit in here. I'm gonna pick this up tomorrow morning just because it's getting a little dark out here, so yeah, we'll pick it up then. Now we're back. So first thing we need to do is take off this cover right here to get to the actual clutch packs and all the internals on this. These do have a tendency of stripping, so just be careful when you're taking them off. But after we get this plate off, then we can start removing everything that's underneath it and take a look and see what we have under there. Okay, so the kit I actually picked up was from RacingDiffs, and it comes with everything we need to rebuild this, and actually not only rebuild it but upgrade it to a more aggressive locking diff. So there we have it. These shims fell out. Basically, they just go in the same way that they fell out, concave in, and then this one goes in like this with the little teeth marks or the little grooves facing down. So we'll remember to do that. But yeah, let's go ahead and set this aside. And it doesn't really look that bad, honestly, in here. Let me grab a magnet real quick so we can start pulling these clutch packs out. First piece looks like it's a shim, and you can tell that they're concave, so just make sure that everything goes back in the same way it came out. Then after that, it's a dog ear plate, like that. And then looks like we have our first clutch pack here. Yep. Which again doesn't really look that bad. But we'll go ahead and replace it anyways. And then we have this center unit here. This is the ramp, as they call it, I guess. But again, no real marks. I mean, it kind of makes me think that they might have rebuilt this before. But hard telling, honestly, because I don't really know much of the vehicle's history or anything like that. Spider gear. Okay. And another gear there, spider gear. And then this should be the second ramp, I think. This one might be a little difficult to get out. But yeah, so there's the I'll throw those just back in there like that, just so I don't forget. Now we just threw in another clutch, the second clutch pack, second dog ear, and one more concave shim. So, okay. And this right here is the spacer at the very bottom. This is actually what people replace. What I was talking about earlier, when you're doing a 3 clutch mod, you replace it. So you take this out and you actually put, let's see if I can find it. You actually put in another clutch pack, another dog ear shim in there, and as you guys can see, it equates the same thickness. So that's how people get around with that, and just add another clutch pack. We let the clutch pack soak overnight in the gear oil, so now we're ready to pull this back apart and assemble it. So at the very bottom of the stack, we have 3 small discs or shims. So the first one that goes down, and don't forget to oil these, but first one that goes down is the flat one. Then after that is going to be the preload shim, which is concave. The concave side facing up like this, you guys can see. And then the other washer, which has these little teeth. The teeth have to go up, facing inward. So I'm gonna oil these really quick here. And drop the first one down there, and then the preload shim next. Then after the 3 shims are in, then you can install your first preload shim, and it'll also be facing upwards like this with the concave up. So after the preload shim, then we can install our first dog ear shim. So that just goes in there. And then after that, we can install our first clutch pack. These clutch packs are actually kind of nice because they do, as opposed to the original ones, they do come with a better coating, and these are perforated to promote better cooling, which is actually kind of nice. So don't forget to soak these overnight, but then we can drop it on in there. Okay, then after the first clutch plate is in, then we can go ahead and install another dog ear shim or plate. And after that, another clutch pack. After 2 sets of preload shims and clutch packs are in, then we can install our first pressure plate here. Alright, then after that we can install our first spider gear. And we drop it in like this. After that, our second set of gears, which are these more spider gears. Alright, then the other set of spider gears that go on top of it as well. Alright, and then our final spider gear that goes on top and just joins everything together. Alright, after that we can install our second pressure plate. Okay, now once we got the pressure plate in, then we can go on to the next stack, which is going to be, the next thing up is another clutch plate. Alright, got gear oil everywhere. But after that, a dog ear plate. And another clutch plate. Alright, and then one final dog ear plate. Alright, and then we can finish it up by installing our final preload shim. This one has to be facing down because it's facing inwards. Remember, all this is facing inwards. Alright, and just like that. Okay, and once you finally have all this assembled, then the final piece is this, the end cap. So this cap is specifically made for this because it is 4 millimeters thinner than the original one. So that allows us to actually run 4 clutch packs. If you didn't have this piece, then you could only run 3 as a maximum. And that would be honestly by replacing the final spacer at the bottom. But since we have this, which I'll show you guys side by side, it is significantly thinner there. You guys can see that. Then we can honestly run this setup here. So that'll go in just like that. You guys get the gist, but I do have to install a bearing onto this, so I'm not going to completely close it up just yet. But you guys get the idea. So that's pretty much how you assemble one of these 4 clutch stage 2 units from RacingDiffs. Not very difficult, honestly, and really no modification needed because of course you got this. You can machine that one down 4 millimeters, but it's much easier to just get the kit that comes with it already. So there you have it. We need to press in a new bearing onto it. I got this Timken one, verified that the fitment is good. So fits in there, everything looks good. We just need to press that in. And here's the part number if any of you are wondering, because I know it's not the easiest to find these days. But yeah, let's go ahead and press that in and then we can continue assembling it. So it's kind of hard to tell because it's not the greatest light, but I'm using a bearing driver on each side, and I'm just going to use the vise to press it in because I don't have a hydraulic press. But this should work just as well. Alright. And there we go. Have our new bearing pressed in, completely flush, just like the other one. So now we can reinstall the cap piece. So now that we have our billet cap here, now we can put the shims on here and then throw it back on. So the order goes the flat washer first, then we have our preload shim facing upwards, and then finally our oil shim. Alright, and now we can hold it in place like this. Just keep a finger on it, and then turn it around and put it on. For that, then we'll just tighten these down to 29.5 foot-pounds or 40 Newton meters. So now that it's all torqued down here to spec, you got the new bearing and everything, this is ready to be put back into the casing. So I did throw a little bit of powder coat on the cover too. Some areas could have been better, just a little bit better prep, but I was in a hurry, so not bad for being in a rush though. But let's throw a little bit of RTV, a gasket, and a brand new poly bushing, and we should be able to throw this back on. Alright, so the diff's pretty much done. Got all new hardware, got everything, axle stubs in, and I did forget to mention, but I actually got a new set of studs and hardware kit from Race German, just to make the installation a little easier. But yeah, it's ready to go.